All right. So this is the drive. We started this drive when we started the competition, which was last fall. And really, once you open it up, you'll see a few things. This is kind of like, it says start here. So this right here is our basically guide to the competition. And it used to be called mini IRC. So you know that IRC program I was telling you about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we try to model it around that. But we kind of rebranded because not a lot of people know what IRC is.
Yeah. And it makes more sense, stock pitching competition.
Exactly. Yeah, we wanted to be more upfront about it, and like so people don't think it's out of the realm of like something they could do. So yeah, so that's why it's called SPC now, stock pitch competition. And here's just a little background on it. Qualifications, a lot of people had questions on like whether they could apply for it or they could do it. But obviously this is just run by the club, so there's really no like legal aspect, so anyone can come, but we just wanted to make that explicit. Yeah, and then obviously we also have to touch on this since you guys are going to be analyzing the same securities. That doesn't mean you guys can't work together. We encourage that, like the more collaboration the better. But that's just a little disclaimer. And then, okay, so here we go. So these are our general directions, right? Like this is at the end of the day, the way that you want to present, the way that you want to analyze your security, because it's going to vary so much, but we want to give you a guide. So you start out by filling out the analyst report. You then create a valuation model so you can have a price target. And really this valuation model is you're just putting all the fundamental analysis you found in the report in a valuation model. So it can seem a little maybe daunting, but you should have already done the hard part, which is like doing the analysis. And then obviously we want to make sure that we can kind of double check your numbers if we need to. So we'd like to know where you got your numbers, but hopefully with Bloomberg, it's easy. Hopefully with Bloomberg, you're getting accurate data and it's easier for you to find that data. So that's why we really try to push the Bloomberg terminal this year, and we're able to fortunately get support from the department to get you guys enrolled in that. And then fourth is you can always, reach out to us, ask for help. Hopefully we'll be having maybe 1 or 2 more office hours and seeing what kind of mentors we can get for you guys. Great. And then we will really go in depth into like how you can build out those really the 2 requirements, which is analyst report and the valuation model. So I'll come back to that because it can get kind of, we can go real in depth, but that's what this is. I would recommend you read this first, right? Look through the guide. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, perfect. All right, and then probably the next thing that you'd want to look at is our grading rubric. We are not just subjective, and we don't give this out because there's a cash prize. Like we want it to be transparent in how we're kind of grading everybody and how we choose the finalists. So we put up the grading rubric, and so this is our panel of judges. They'll all blindly assess each one of your guys' analyst reports and valuation models. And these are the things that they're grading you on. So you can clearly see kind of like what we'd like to see out of it. And so it's pretty transparent. So we grade you obviously on your valuation model. We grade you on your investment rationale, and we weigh this the most heavily because at the end of the day, if whatever decision you choose, whether it's a buy, sell, or hold, like if you can show us that you've done enough research and have the right reasonings behind it, then that means the more than anything for us, right? And then if you do happen to make a presentation, then these are the things that we'd look at. Ideally, we'd want everyone to present, but just because of the time, it might just be the finalists. But if you want to create slide decks and send those to us, and that will help your chances. Definitely, you can score some more points. And I believe this is also based off of your analyst report. So the way you build your analyst report and just making sure that it's visually appealing as well. Cool. And then at the end, right, when you're presenting, we like to, the way it was set up last semester is a 10-minute, oh, I think we have someone joining. Cool. The way it was set up last year is it was correct me if I'm wrong, Jacob, it was like 15 minutes for a presentation and then 5-minute Q&A, or 10-minute presentation, 10-minute QA.
Yeah, I think it was 10 and 5.
Okay, yeah. So then we, we kind of ask questions about your investment rationale and some of your numbers or whatever we see from the presentation that we'd like to get more clarification on, and then we'll grade you on that as well. And we will just make sure to change this, change that name. Awesome. So here's where we get to your analyst report. And you don't have to use this. Actually, the last winner did not use this template, but we wanted to give you a template for how to build your research report. And so here, just basic things that we'll look at. So these are the basic metrics that, just like the tear sheet of basic facts of your company. So the business here, you'll write about what the company does, right? So actually, if we go back here, we actually give directions on how to go ahead and fill out this template. Right. And we also give you some tips on where to find some of these sections, like in the business section where you're supposed to write what the company does, what it is, like some more a background of the business. We actually tell you, you can go ahead and look at the 10K and they'll have a business overview section. And you can use that to help you write that part. And then, we also try to break that down even further. And this is more like tips, like write about the products, write about who the customers are, its industry, and also where it operates. Key metrics, this is another tear sheet that we like to look at. How's it been doing over time? If you already have 2021 numbers, you don't have to put the estimates. You can just use the latest filings, and you can use these as your estimates. And if you don't happen to have 2024 estimates or even 2023, then feel free to leave those blank or delete those. But so feel free to update this, right? None of this is set in stone. It's just a template for you. And then we give you, down here is the investment thesis, right? So here you're going to kind of give us your just final thoughts on why you think this is why you think this is a good purchase, right? Why you think this is a good stock to buy. So all the research that you kind of do up here, you'll just put them here in like bullet points, just very briefly, just to reiterate. Another thing we didn't put is, another thing that you can look at is risks. So look at business risks if you'd like to add that into your analyst report. And over here in the directions, once again, you have like a lot more things that we go into on things to look at to really fill out your investment rationale. All right. So any questions on the template or anything else so far?
So we don't have to use that template at all. This is right.
Correct.
The first page, just the first page, how it says like analyst report. This is just basically what you have to have in the report, right? But and then the equity research report, this is like just a template of that, Okay.
Yes. I mean, like I said, let's go back here to requirements. The
Yeah.
only thing you have to have is a analyst report and a valuation model, but it doesn't have to
Right.
be this exact one, obviously, and doesn't have to be this exact model, which I'm going to go into. And I think Jacob probably easier for him to speak on it. He's a lot stronger on the valuation department, but even Cameron's on, who was our previous winner and who's now helping to head this new competition. He didn't use that template. We're not going to grade you on whether you use this template or not. But if this template doesn't really help you explain kind of like your investment rationale, or then feel free to use another one, build one out. You can maybe even ask Cameron on how he built his and what template he used or what helped guide him. And maybe you can send something over.
Yeah, I would just say, real quickly to add on to that point, that if you are choosing to use your own template, and it sounds like maybe you're headed in that direction, definitely talk to one of the alum, talk to an advisor about it and see if it's, following a correct format and whether or not that valuation is headed in the right direction, because it's really going to support you in the long run and build up your knowledge to know that you're kind of like getting at the point of what the valuation is supposed to represent for the company. Like these templates that were built out are used by the school for the SMIC program. So I would advise using these templates to start off. And then if you want to do your own, maybe build that out afterwards.
Yeah, I think that's some good advice, Cam. And actually, like Cam said, we're using resources from BAM. So I'm gonna go into one of these older classes. And we can actually go and see their analyst reports. So you'll see that they're pretty similar. Yeah, so here you go. I mean, this is a fully built out Smith analyst report. And so you can see this is a template that we use. We actually slimmed it down for you guys here, but that was just to make it simpler for those that are just joining. But if you feel like you could fill a whole analyst report and you want to include all of these, then we can actually go ahead and send you this template, or we can help you build out another one, just to kind of like whatever works for you, right? We just want to help. And I think we have a lot of resources that we can pull from. All right, so let's go to the valuation model that we have here. Jacob, are you on?
Yeah, I'm semi on, just doing some work stuff right now too. But,
Okay.
What's up?
I just wanted to see if you wanted to walk through this specific valuation model.
Yeah, so the template that we have actually isn't my favorite, but it's pretty simple in terms of usage, right? So do these have like the year tabs as well, like 2017, 2018?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. I mean, maybe should we add that template?
Yeah, maybe we'll add that one because
Okay, let me do that now then. Let's go. What's the most updated one? Cam, do you remember when you did this last semester, if we sent you a newer version of the template? Because I don't think yours used this one, right? I think yours is the one that had the financial statement breakdowns.
Yeah, I think I used the current Smith team's template.
I think we put an older model in there just because we didn't know at the time which one we wanted to go with. So maybe we'll update the model we have.
Right, it was like a non-automated file.
Do you know what company you're doing, Andrew? Did you say already?
I think I'll probably do Tesla.
Tesla, okay. The thing is with like a model like this, right? You'll get a Tesla valuation that is probably gonna be very conservative.
Yeah,
But,
that's what I'm assuming.
but that's okay too. You know, it's more about like practicing the inputs and things like that, and trying to make up those assumptions. Is this the most recent?
This is, yeah, this is last spring's, which I
Okay.
think is what fall is using as well.
One moment.
So this one has these new updated automated stuff. And it has it's easier to input the data because it's like broken down. And we actually give you the Bloomberg identify, like Bloomberg metric ID. So you can go in Bloomberg. If you want to find cash, just search for this exact BS_cash near cash item. You can find that for those years. The only thing that's probably wrong is this just needs to be updated 1 year. But also, I mean, maybe they haven't done their 2021 yet. Okay, so how best can we break this down?
You're talking about the breakdown the DCF.
Yeah, how can we explain?
Let me go scroll over. All right. So with these models, it's pretty simple, right? I mean, you'll go to the first off, you'll go to the historical tabs, you'll fill out those, right? And make sure you pretty much just want to stick as closely as I can, at least the way I like it, to what is on actual 10Ks. If you use Bloomberg, you can use Bloomberg numbers, but sometimes they're different, either due to analyst estimates. They do these things called adjustments. So the numbers might be a little different than what's actually on the 10Ks. And that's okay too. Just make your decision as an analyst, you know, which numbers you want to use. But the historical part is the easiest part because those are numbers that are definite. You'll go into the 10Ks, you'll actually see the numbers year by year, you'll see them change, and then just input straight up. You know, don't try to get too fancy with it right away. Just add those exactly pretty much as you see them. And then the fun part is when you get to the projections. So after you do that, you know, year by year, usually you do last 5-year data to project out several years into the future, right? Let's see. So,
and I think this one you just need the last 4 years.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
2016 wouldn't. I think it wouldn't be even counted into the formula. It's just if you want to have 2016, so you can look at a 5-year change, like how each of these metric has been improving over the last 5 years, then you can also take in 2016. Let me just speak on this tab real quick. This is a tab that's useful for our 10-year automation. So you don't have to touch it. It will update itself, and all of this. Well, first, just to explain it to you. This is pulling from treasury.gov. So it's pulling all of the 10-year yields. Well, actually, all of these treasury yields. But it's just looking for the 10-year. And that's going to be helpful when you're making your forecast. So that comes in right here. And then here's also the color codes of the cells. So red, yellow, and blue, you don't have to change. And the real part that you're working on is all these green ones.
Oh yeah, I see.
And I'm really big on being partial to analyst discretion, right? So even once you plug in these treasury numbers and you get a whack, look at it right now, like a 6% whack, you know, obviously, in my opinion, right? If you're going to do a company like Tesla, that whack needs to be bumped up a little bit because it's a more riskier company when you make that discount rate. But for me in this competition, I really want you guys to do the best to do everything that you think is your own idea, right? I want you guys to try to be as original as possible in terms of your projections and your understanding of your idea of the company. So don't be afraid if you do things that other people may think they're wrong. We'll definitely push you on questions, but don't be too scared, I guess, or intimidated to change things. Like if you think Tesla's going to do 30% revenue growth year over year for the next 5 years, go ahead and do it. Just make sure you have like a supporting thesis to kind of back up your argument and your story and the numbers. I think is probably an important part of the DCF.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's exactly right, Jacob. Like I mentioned before, this should be, yes, it's going to be complicated. It's going to be somewhat tedious, but the hard part is really when you're doing the analyst report, or obviously before that, because your analysis is what's going to lead you to changing these numbers or modifying whatever Bloomberg estimates you get. So the research has kind of been done beforehand here. And so you're just trying to put it into the valuation model so you can get a price target. But, just make sure that it's backed up by the analysis you did and hopefully in the analyst report. So that's really what it is. These red ones are coming from your historical tabs here. And that historical tab you are getting from hopefully Bloomberg. And we give you the exact metric to look at in Bloomberg because, and that's been really helpful. Past classes or past competitors didn't have that. Like they had to look that up themselves. And I think there were some discrepancies there, or at least a little bit, but now you can actually go ahead and we'll tell you exactly what we're looking for. And you just have to look for it for your company. There's 2 other tabs. And then to finalize that, then you're working on the green ones, right? And so we actually made Tesla here. Once you put the ticker, a lot of these things will update. So, but then, it's up to you. If you don't think that's right, then go ahead and change that. This is obviously something that we're going to help you with probably because it's so individual to the security you're analyzing. And I'm sure that there might be one other person doing Tesla, so you guys can kind of collaborate on that. So this is a DGM. It's another valuation model. I don't know if well, obviously you won't have that, right? Because Tesla, they don't have dividends, do they?
No, they don't.
No, yeah, okay. So then you don't even have to worry about this. And I think we might just remove this. How do you feel about that, Jacob?
What was that? Sorry.
Do you think they need a DGM model?
No, not if it's a cash flow positive company.
I kind of like the DGM model, at least for a company. Maybe it doesn't work for Tesla, but for somebody who is working with dividends, it's a really good gut check on your valuation. So it's up to you guys, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I'm gonna just let them know it's not needed. So they can, Smith doesn't even have this anymore, except for financials. But
DGMs and DCFs, they're basically the same thing, just different inputs. So it's more of like Cam said, another way to check evaluation. You can apply different weightings to what you get. But
yeah, that's true. So then this other DCF here, like I said, this is for companies that you think are too, if you're analyzing a very young company. Possibly Tesla, you might get. No, I don't know.
No, I think it'll be. I think it would be within 5 years.
Well, you're right, but they definitely haven't matured yet, right? So
oh right, yeah,
still be in a high growth phase. So the cool thing is that you don't have to do anything here. this will actually auto update with all of your historical and the assumptions you've made here. So it's just whether it makes sense to even look at this or not. But the nice thing is that this will auto update by itself. So you'll automatically have a 10-year. It's just if you have already a mature company, then this is pointless. Like it's not really relevant.
Oh, I see.
But for you, I mean, maybe we'll go ahead and look at it too, because we'll just see. Great. All right. Any questions on that? I mean, I'm sure you have questions on that. It's
Yeah, but
the most.
once you go through that, just
Yeah.
definitely reach out if you feel like you need help on that.
Yeah. I think I just gotta start filling stuff out first before I can see where I'm stuck. You know.
Yeah, no, a lot of it is like plug and play too. Honestly, just try to understand where the numbers are coming from, how you're calculating the. If you scroll down a little bit, Brian, like to me, a little too far. Yeah. Understanding the cash flow statement part is probably the most important. And you'll see how kind of the assumptions that you have in this sheet will affect that. So understanding that, I think, is a big part of it, and you'll get that through time and using the sheet. So don't worry about it being confusing.
Exactly. And the picture, you'll start painting the picture. Like once you go through these, just plugging in historicals. And if you're on Bloomberg or even on Yahoo Finance, you'll get estimates for the next few years, maybe even up to 2023. And so then it's just you filling out the last few years in perpetuity, you know. So really, I mean, as you go through it, the picture kind of starts coming out in the price target. So it can seem daunting at first with everything looks like it's broken, but I'm sure once you start, we'll be able to help you.
Yeah. So you guys updated and put this one in the Google Drive now?
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now.
Oh, you haven't done it yet. Okay.
So like I said, so this one right here, this is our old version. And we put it in there because we thought it's a little simpler, you know, like all those tabs are just here. But we don't use that because now we kind of want it to be a little bit more modular. And we've made a few changes. Yeah, like this doesn't take into account like WAC, right? Where's the assumptions? I haven't seen this in years. Yeah. And there's not as much automation in these ones. There's actually no automation apart from the formulas. So, I mean, for some people, that might be a little bit easier to start with. But I'll go ahead and add this one. So,
yeah.
All right. So those are the 4 things. You know, the guide, the grading rubric, the analyst report template, and the valuation model. Jacob, I think it's just what you want them to do in terms of getting. Do you want them to fill out a Google form? Do you want them to just put it in the chat? So we know which company they chose.
Yeah, I asked them to shoot it in the chat. If you see that message, I just sent that 10:23. Just ask people to message me either individually or send it in this chat. I know some people have already picked the company, so I'm not too worried about them. But it's for the people that haven't gotten back to us yet.
Okay.
But I can bug them throughout the day.
Well, maybe we could maybe Andrew could get the ball rolling. Andrew, would you mind putting it in the chat that you're analyzing Tesla or that's a stock you picked?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, whenever you get the chance.
Oh, and another thing is that don't feel constrained to just do a DCF model, right? We use that just because DCFs are standard practice, right? But if you feel a multiple model is, fine, or, a relative valuation via company competitors is a better way to value a company like Tesla, feel free to do that as well. And I
Yeah,
can try to put
because
a template for that as well.
yeah, that's what actually swayed me away, because I really wanted to do a square, but I felt that it would be too hard to predict their DCF for them.
Yeah, I mean, so let me look at-
Yeah, you kind of want to think about what this competition is. Like, you're not trying to, I mean, you kind of want a stock that's going to be really fun to pitch, but you're not looking for the best return. You're looking for
Right.
perfect marriage of valuation and this company's growth. And so the way that you decide to value it is really important, and it has to fit very closely to the company's model and what your projections are for them. And so, it might be the traditional DCF. If you happen to stumble across something that, does it better or feels like it's more accurate in your opinion, that would be great. But, long term, like, you need to be thinking about a lot more than just the model too. It has to be, a lot of the drivers and how you structure that argument and how it works with the DCF. The accounting of those drivers and the assumptions that you make in your model are really important, tying those together.
Yeah, I think that's right. And not to give Cam a hard time, but it's really not about the finding the best performing company, right? It's definitely more about your analysis. Like Cam did CVS or Walgreens?
Yeah, CVS.
CVS, right? So definitely not Tesla in terms of like the sexiness of the
What's
stock.
CVS now, Cam? What are they at?
I don't know.
Are they stuck in the 80s? Are they above that?
Yeah. So anyway, and he won with analyzing CVS, so just because he showed that he did some really thorough analysis in the way he presented. So it's not, we're obviously not going to pick from those companies that have the highest.
Yeah, I just wanted to take from the talk with the Demoteran, because he said, it would be easy to analyze a company like Coca-Cola, right? But the real upside and the real learning experience you'll get is when you analyze a company that's harder to model. But just an idea.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
have fun with
point
it.
is-
I don't care too much about it being perfect valuation. Just as long as you enjoy it, and that's my favorite part of Smith and all that is stock analysis. So
yeah, it's really
if you
about
enjoy
like,
that,
quality of the
yeah,
analysis.
But if you come to us with a report, it's like Tesla to the moon kind of thing. It's like,
I know, right?
I'd want to see a little more in-depth research. But have a good time with it. Don't feel like you have to give us a report that's any certain way. Just as long as you feel like you put in a good effort, that'll be good for us, in my opinion.
So I have to head out now, but glad we got to chat about this.
Yep. Thanks for having a little call. Bye, guys.
All right, bye guys.